Ai, kia ora noa e te iwi hoki mai ke whakaata Māori i tēnei wā kei runga ake te kapa Tall Blacks whātekau mārua ki te whātekau mātahi. Tanya, looking at the half-time statistics, field goal percentage, a very, very good point for the Tall Blacks.
Yeah, awesome. 14 from 18 from the field from the Tall Blacks. And, you know, that's over 70%. Anytime you shoot over 50%, you're looking at being in front. But they weren't so hot from the three-point line.
And just in regards to that, the type of style, you've alluded to it before, Nene Vucinic wanted to bring in a different, more open running style of play to give players more space. I thought that would have been actually more conducive to having a better outside game, but not tonight.
Well, they're going with the inside a little bit more. They're aggressively driving, and, you know, PC's backing up in there and wheeling and dealing, and that's what we want to see. We want to keep doing that inside for this next quarter.
Ka tika rā, kei reira te oranga mo te kapa Tall Blacks, ko te pātai nui kia kite mēnā ka tae rātou ki te mahi tonu i roto i te wehenga tuarua. Kia whakawhiti anō ki poe hākena.
Dribble that thing up, Mac exchange, you hit, Mac get a good lead out, be aware of your back cut, he's coming off the 5.
Yeah, I like the idea of Darnell Mee handling the ball at the point against something like that. He does distribute the ball particularly well, and he can recognise shooters as well as anybody can in this league.
I think the thing is he has to be aggressive with the ball as well. He can't just pass the ball around the outside. He's got a really quick first step. So, you know, try and take that man on and bring somebody else out of their area of the zone, and that's how you create open jump shots.
Well, all the starters are there. Got a few players in foul trouble, but right at the moment, Olympic qualifications on the line, and nobody's going to be sitting on the bench and looking after fouls at the moment. They want to look after the scoreline and get themselves in front. At the moment, it's the Tall Blacks in front by a point. As Cameron goes, finally in the corner, they go to Bradshaw off the hands of Dickel. This is Dickel with the basketball now. Dickel taking off Darnell Mee, and they've almost turned it over. And in fact, they have. Not getting a shot off first time down the floor, so a good little defensive passage there for the team in green.
Great help defense by the Boomers on the split line there to be able to come and double Dickel with the ball.
Well, forget the zone, they're straight into man-to-man, and they go Darnell Mee against Dickles. Shades of the first play of the ball game.
Darnell Mee's used to posting up in the Cairns offense. They like to be able to take the smaller guards down low, and he's very efficient when he can get to the block.
So it'll be Darnell Mee at the free throw line. Talking about NBA, this guy started out with the Denver Nuggets and then started his NBL career with Canberra, back under coach Barry Barnes, who recruited him to the Canberra Cannons, and then of course he's on his 4th club, I think, with the in the NBL. But what a servant he's been to all of them, people like Adelaide and Cairns, and a tremendous player.
And you bring up the great Barry Barnes, 2 4th-place finishes for the Australian Boomers in '96 and 2000.
Not sure whether he's here tonight, but if he's not, he'll be on his lounge chair in Kayleen watching. Kirk Penny gets the screen from Perot Cameron. Cameron now to back up against Jason Smith, use his size and backs it off, but Smith was right up in his face, but Cameron was absolutely equal to the task. Kissed it off the glass for his 15th point.
Well, that was beautiful to watch. Big PC backing it down.
Here's Darnell Mee again. And another foul against Mark Dickel.
Well, it's exactly what Hammer was saying before, wasn't it? Darnell Mee has recognised that he's got a smaller guard on him. He's able to take him down low. Here he is again on the block.
This is the 3rd foul against Dickel too. So it might bring an adjustment from the Tall Blacks bench. No movement as yet. Darnell Mee, certainly to get the ball into his hands, asking Mark Dickel to play him, but Dickel just takes the ball past him there and inside the defence off the Tall Blacks' hands. In fact, it's a white ball from the end line. Referee Brzezowski says the Boomers touched it last.
I think it was a bad guess too. I think it was off the Kiwis.
Dickel looking to pump it on the inside and has to lob it over the top and turn the ball over. Now Saville down the middle, a pass to McKinnon. Very, very quick, those two, and quick to punish the defence.
Dangerous time here for the Tall Blacks. The Boomers got a couple of easy baskets out of it. Another turnover by the Tall Blacks.
Here they go, 3-on-1 this time. Return pass to McKinnon, easy layup.
Timeout needed by the Tall Blacks. They need it.
Certainly do. Mark Dickel needs a spell as well because he's turned it over. As you see, Glenn Saville, and we've talked about his mobility with Sam McKinnon as well. But Mark Dickel, he needs a minute to take a think about his actions.
Well, he turned it over, didn't he? 6 times in game 1. He's already up to 3 turnovers now, and they're very critical turnovers.
Well, what a start to this third quarter by the Boomers. Not the way the Tall Blacks wanted to start, but Darnell Mee, what a start he's made to this particular quarter. And John Coates, the AAC boss, on his left is Bob Elphinston, who's now the president of FIBA. And on Coates' right is Ron Harvey, who led Australian basketball for so many years. So a big 3 there.
Some big wigs are right there. Absolutely. Don't worry about that.
3 of the big names in world sport. In fact, on Harvey's right is Al Ramsey, who was the boss of Oceania for so many years. So they're all here tonight, and lots of top-level meetings going on in Australian basketball and Oceania basketball in Sydney to coincide with this series.
And they'll be impressed with what they saw with the Boomers' defence to start this second half. Only a minute 50 gone, but Brian Goorjian and his crew have really turned up the heat and caused New Zealand to be able to turn that ball over and create easy buckets for themselves.
An 8-2 run for the Boomers to start this quarter. A minute and 50 seconds gone.
We see Danny Morsu go by.
I just saw Danny there. He's Patrick Mills' uncle. And that will be a Boomers ball again. It's Darnell Mee. He's had a tremendous start to this quarter.
It's the defensive pressure again, and Sparky Dickel, 4 turnovers. And they've all come in this quarter, at the start of this game, the second half.
Well, you look at the Australian lineup, it's 6'5" and above. Long, athletic bodies can play D.
Smith. Darnell Mee. David Anderson wants it underneath, but Mee, he's really got it on a string at the moment. This is the Darnell Mee show at the moment. He's really turning it up.
It's been a great adjustment by Brian Goorjian to be able to get him in the block because he hasn't done it in the first game and a half of this series.
He's doing it at both ends too. Now Dickel goes low to Cameron, return pass to Kirk Penny, and Darnell Mee pulls off a charge. He can do nothing wrong at the moment.
Well, Kirk Penny won't be happy with that. I think he was a bit cheated on that call, but great effort.
That was an unbelievable
call. I'm thinking, how was he there when Mark Worthington wasn't before? I can't work out those two calls, but anyway, the game goes on. 7-point lead to the Boomers. McKinnon goes low to Darnell Mee. Give the man the ball. He's doing it all at the moment. Now he takes the shot, but he dumps it down to Anderson. Couldn't finish it off, so Darnell doesn't get an assist. Trying to put some pressure on Dickel up the floor. Boucher shifts the ball quickly. 3-point shot from Cameron. They need one. He couldn't provide it that time. Unusual.
And there's that man again, Darnell Mee, with the rebound.
Sam McKinnon on a runner and kisses it up off the glass for another 2.
That's hang time.
This is a great period for the Boomers right here. They've punched a hole in the lead again. 9-point break after they were down by 1 at half-time. Last 10, as you can see, to the Boomers. Bradshaw trying to do something about that, but Anderson grabs a rebound. Boucher grabs it off him and busts it. And David Anderson had a good case to complain to referee Andy Thackeray there because Boucher gave him a good old tailing up. But that's the way the game is. You've got to ride through that.
At what stage is Mark Dickel going to try and front the post? Is he going to play behind him for the rest of the game or what?
Well, here he is.
Well, what the Tall Blacks haven't done...
That's number 4.
Yeah, what the Tall Blacks haven't done is they haven't made an adjustment defensively. They've just left Sparky Dickel to fend for himself.
Have a look at this, and Boucher getting the ball. Got him, grab his elbow there. And Boucher has quick hands. He got away with one there, but they really needed it, the Tall Blacks.
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't call a foul because they don't look even close to being able to score from the field.
Saville. Now with Smith. Paul Hanari comes in to take out Mark Dickel. Dickel sitting with those 4 fouls. Saville going low to Anderson to try and work on Pero Cameron. And
Dylan Boucher's
turning
hands.
it over.
Quick hands of Dylan Boucher again.
Smith right in Penny's jock here to try and keep the ball away from him. He's done a good job of starving the ball the last couple of times down the floor. Now Cameron. Hanari. Mills out there, Hanari. And is that off Bradshaw? No, it'll be off the Boomers, they say.
But once again, it's that communication problem, and they haven't got the right balance of scorers out there. No one's been able to score.
5 seconds left on the shot clock when they bring it in. Phil Jones has come in. And out goes Dylan Boucher.
This is a better lineup for the Kiwis, but they look rudderless out there. I'm not sure what they're trying to achieve or who they're trying to go to. They have to get something desperate up in the last 5 seconds of the shot clock.
Well, keep an eye on Jason Smith doing a tremendous job on Kirk Penny right now. Really starving him the ball, and they're trying to get the ball in the hands of Penny. 4 seconds left as Jones gets that shot up, but not in. McKinnon's rebound, and the Boomers have another chance down the floor. Patrick Mills. Anderson demanding it low, but now comes out and sets the screen. 3-point shot from David Anderson. Left it just a little bit short. The Tall Blacks trying to find a way to score. It dried up for them. I'm so surprised they won't go back to that zone, although they're having trouble offensively at the moment. An offensive foul is called.
Jason Smith again makes the defensive adjustment, moves his feet as Hanari gets in the air and draws the foul.
You know what I don't like about this Tall Black offense, though, Shane, is the fact that it's too complicated. There's lots of movement, and as you said before, you don't know who the ball's going to at some stage.
Why wouldn't they have gone back to the 2-3 zone? That's what I can't understand. It was so effective at the end of that first half. And a foul on the play will put Sam McKinnon at the free throw line.
That's a very, very aggressive play from Sam McKinnon. You see him get the head down on a pull-through going to the baseline, and you make the defense adjust. And Sam's one of the best when he has that sort of mindset.
McKinnon at the free throw line. The new Aussie captain who's taken over the captaincy on this team from Jason Smith, who led them at the Commonwealth Games. And Sam McKinnon scoring off the free throw line. So a good break now to the Boomers. A 9-point break in the third quarter. Remember, they had it out by 13 in the second. Certainly not a winning break. Mark Worthington in there. Penny found a way to the basket. Did it so well. Not able to score on the outside, so does what good scorers can do and found his own shot. They weren't able to spot him up on the outside, created his own.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, Phil? You've got your two-guard having to create his own shot.
Here's a fellow doing some creation right now. That's creative.
Well, it's a great mix-up too. He played the pick and roll the time before, passed it to the big man. That time he split the trap, and great left-hand finish.
Hanari down the middle to Bradshaw, and he was set for the big dunk, but they had to foul him to stop it.
Well, if you're a Boomer, that's a good foul. The fact that Paul Hanari comes down the lane here, from the Boomers' point of view, that's a good foul, because if you're shooting the ball from the free throw line like the Tall Blacks are, you'll give away a couple of easy fouls like that.
Yeah, it was a good play by Sam McKinnon to be able to get a hand on, just enough to be able to disrupt the big fella from actually ramming it.
5 team fouls against New Zealand for this quarter, 1 against Australia. That was the first one for Sam McKinnon. You see Jason Smith taking a seat.
And as you pointed out before, Phil, this is a perfect time for New Zealand to go to the zone and see whether the Australians can make a bucket from the perimeter.
So Hanari it is with the ball now. Cameron. Phil Jones with a long three. Just shot it a bit too long, though. Worthington wasn't able to run it down, but Mills grabs the scraps. He created the numbers down the floor. That was just done with pace from Mills. He just burnt past 2 New Zealand defenders, gave it to David Anderson to create the extra number.
Well, what about the running of the big man down the court, David Anderson, to be able to reward something like that?
Absolutely. 10-point ball game. Now Bradshaw. Patrick Mills out there on Perro Cameron. There's a mismatch. Kirk Penny left with the shot, and Cameron's able to grab it. And Penny left that one short as well. And a frustration foul against Kirk Penny. Missed a couple of easy ones.
New Zealand number 6, Kirk Penny. Holding.
Look at those first 2 or 3 steps.
The afterburners are on. He was in first gear, then he ranked it up to 4th gear immediately.
Well, it was a 3-on-4 that he turned into a 3-on-1 straight away by just zipping past a couple of defenders.
And it was impressive by Dave Anderson to be able to get ahead of him and be able to finish that bucket.
And now we watch Anderson at the free throw line. Plies his trade in Russia these days and doing a tremendous job with his team, but doing a tremendous job for the Boomers. And let's talk about the big man department. I mean, with no Andrew Bogut in this series, but gee, hasn't this boy stepped up to the mark?
Yeah, he certainly has, and everyone talks about Andrew Bogut, and rightly so, because he's a fantastic player. But Matthew Nielsen coming back into this team next year to play beside Bogut is going to be very, very exciting.
Oh, Hanari, that was a well-worked piece of offense from the Tall Blacks. There hasn't been enough of it, though.
There hasn't been enough of it, but you had to have someone that could pass the ball properly. And look at that. Peddle Cameron, easy pass for him. A lot of players couldn't make that pass, though, Phil.
He's shown us time and time again that he can. Here's this 2-3 zone.
Finally, they've got back to it after 8 minutes.
Mills trying to penetrate it. They go around it, though, and into the hands of Glenn Saville, not able to make it. Falling to Mark Worthington at the foul on Phil Jones, but Worthington would be kicking himself. He wished he put that shot down because he'd generally make that one. Even though he was fouled, he usually has the strength to knock that one down. Have a look at it. Worthington gets a good piece of the ball here. And then Jones comes across, but Worthington would have loved a 3-point play right there.
Well, count that down to David Anderson. He took 2 New Zealanders out of play by just on that play, and Worthington was able to step in.
Well, one of the things that leaves you vulnerable when you play a zone is the defensive rebounding. You have to be able to block out. And the Kiwis were lucky. Sav missed the shot, but there was no one there to rebound.
Mark Worthington scoring off the free throw line. He just gets the job done in a no-fuss kind of way, Mark Worthington. I like the blue-collar attitude of him. But right now it's Newley to do the job on Kirk Penny. And he's got a big task out there. If he can keep Penny scoreless, the Boomers can go a long way to winning this series. Casey Frank back in the game. This time they go to Penny, but they reach in from Glenn Saville for relieving the ball. 3-on-1 again.
Beautiful pass.
Pass. Mills. Gee, Russell Hinder just wasn't able to fix it up at the end. Hanari. Another foul against Hinder. Just wasn't able to foot it with Paul Hanari. But then again, not many people have. Have a look at this. Look at the pass. No look.
Yeah, I don't care whether he's got a green and gold uniform on. That is just superb basketball.
And there's his father with the glasses on the left. There's Benny next to Danny Morsu. Danny Morsu is Patrick's uncle, and how proud they must be. Danny Morsu, of course, one of the only 3 Aboriginal players who have played for Australia. Michael Armatt for Australia in 1964, and Danny Morsu in the 70s, and now Patrick Mills.
And a great bloke, too, of the sport, Danny Morsu. I was lucky enough to play with him in my first NBL season.
One of the great Brisbane Bullets, and played a little time in St Kilda in Melbourne too, from memory.
They had a lot of success there in St Kilda with Larry Sandstock, going back in the day.
And on the right of Danny, that's Yvonne Mills, Patrick's mother. So it was Benny and Yvonne who actually started the Shadows Basketball Club in Canberra, and done a tremendous job in bringing young Aboriginal players through. And gee, they must be proud of this boy on the floor.
I think there'll be quite a few hits on the St Mary's University updates as well to see how he goes over there. We're all wishing luck.
Yes, he's off there after this series to start his college career. Just wonder how long it might last.
I'm sure you signed him up when he comes back, though, Shane, after that talk.
Everybody will be after him. Phil Jones being troubled there by Glenn Saville. Now Penny and Hanari. And the foul will go against Patrick Mills. One of the things that the Boomers have done in this quarter is able to dry up the Tall Blacks' three-point game. They're none of 6 from outside the arc.
Well, credit that to some great Boomers defence.
And you saw it there with Mills right up in the face of Paul Hanari, and now it's Saville up on Jones. There's Mills, gets the steal, but got a piece of it, but helped it out over the sideline. Put so much pressure on Hanari that Patrick Mills really working both ends of the ball. Have a look at him.
Hanari just doesn't look confident. He doesn't want the ball. And you see Patrick Mills, he got there that time because he slipped that screen. He didn't go around behind him. He was quick enough to be able to get there and still put pressure on Hanari.
Normally Paul Hennard is one of the safe ball handlers that the Kiwis have. But as you say, Patrick Mills, that extra quickness, he's able to put that pressure on him.
Well, there's the guard battle, but there's a change in the front court battle right now because Mika Vicona has come in for his first minutes in this Tall Blacks lineup. They're playing a little bit smaller without Bradshaw out there. And offensive foul has been called against the Tall Blacks. Good defensive set there from Brad Newley.
The Kiwis continually go to the bench at the end of each quarter, and they dry up. They've got 3 guys again on the court that really can't score.
Well, we've got a minute 19 out from three-quarter time. We'll have a look at Brad Newley there with tangling up with Casey Frank, and was called a foul on Frank. But right now, the Tall Blacks can't let this lead go out any more than this 12 points we're looking at the moment, because it might be tough to run down in the final term. Saville, and just Hinder not able to just get that one. And now Phil Jones. See Saville setting himself for the block there and just put enough pressure on in the air to talk Phil Jones out of that one. Now Saville at the other end. What a set there from Saville. Defense at one end, 3 at the other.
Make no mistake, that is the dagger. Have a look at the body language of the Kiwis. You would have to think they're done.
Well, you've got to say that it's, once again, you've got the wrong combinations on the floor, Shane. I can't say it enough.
Have a look at it here. They push the ball down the floor, and Saville in the right-hand corner.
Another great decision by Patrick Mills. I mean, Saville set it up by the defensive pressure that he put on Phil Jones, then ran the lane, found himself in the corner, but the vision of Patrick Mills to be able to drive it down the centre corridor and still hit him for the jumper.
You know, there's a kid back in New Zealand, the legend, he's the son of a legend, Benny Hill. In last year's Test series against the Boomers, he played outstandingly well. He's a big man, like Pero Cameron, that can shoot the open jumper, and that's what they need.
What a spike there from Saville. Get that out of here. Glenn Saville. Now that is a team lifter. Have a look at this. What's Saville? Comes from the other side, slaps that thing out of here. So 3 big plays from Glenn Saville. We talked about Pero Cameron at the end of the second quarter. Put this quarter down to Glenn Saville at the finish. Darnell Mee started it, and Saville's finishing it. Smith, Newley in the corner. Haven't needed his scoring yet. And now Newley. Can he make it though? Yes, he does. I tell you what, if Brad Newley gets off, this could get ugly for New Zealand. But that ends the third quarter here at the Sydney Entertainment Centre in Game 3. And Australia have pinched a big break, outscoring the Kiwis by 19 points in the quarter, 28-9.
On the third side,
te iwi kua hengara watu tō tātou kapa te kapa Tall Blacks kei mua te kapa Boomers ono te kau maiwa ki runga ake I te kapa Tall Blacks rima te kau mātahi. What happened?
Well, I think Mark Dickel sparked the wrong team tonight and it was the Aussies, and they built that 18-point lead, and it's going to be hard for the TBs to play, you know, it's catch-up basketball now.
Catch up indeed, and again it was that unlucky 9 points against all the Tall Blacks scored in that quarter. Just in terms of their attack, they threw up so many 3-point shots and seemed to have abandoned what was working for them in the first half, which was their inside game.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening out there, but, you know, they're going to have some pride out there now, and they've just got to lift their heads up and take it to the Aussies. They've got nothing to lose.
And finally, Patrick Mills, man, that guy in the open court is lightning. He looks like Matty Bowen from the Cowboys.
He's hot. I mean, he's fast, and that's the future of Australian basketball right there.
Ka tika rā e te wikuina ngā mahi papai o te kapa Boomers I tēnei wā te kaumā waru piro te rerekētanga ki wanga nui ngā kapa e rua rako te pātai nui mena ka tae te kapa Tall Blacks te hoki ora mai ki roto I tēnei kēmu I runga hoki te whakaro ko te tūranga ki Beijing, te otinga, te whiwhinga o te wiki tōre ki roto I te whakataetae nei. Nō reira e te wiki hoki atu tātou ki poe hākena kia kite I te wāhanga whakamutunga o tēnei ke.
Because why would you be playing Casey Frank still? He's brought nothing to the game.
Well, they're in that 2-3 zone.
Well, Casey Frank's a naturalised American player. I know Nick Horvath they're trying to get citizenship for. He would be a perfect dancer.
Darnell Mee slips down to the wing against the zone and knocks one down, a three-point shot to extend that lead even further. 21 points. I said it was a mountain before. Just added a little bit to the top, to the peak. Foul against Darnell Mee. Was out on the floor. It'll be a tall back ball from the side.
Once again, though, Phil, you've got Phil Jones out there, but Kirk Penny still sitting on the bench. Yes, get down 21, your best scorer's on the bench still.
And you need some threes, like this hitman here. Shot that one way too long. Darnell Mee cleaning it up on the other side. Quick shift of the ball to Sam McKinnon. A good look there. They found McKinnon down on the baseline. And the Boomers just running away with this. Kirk Penny still on the bench. They look like they're going to be Craig Bradshaw in. And we've got a foul on the defense that time. It goes against Jason Smith. As Casey Frank went to work on him. Have a look at it again. Gee, it's hard to see what he did wrong there.
Yeah, you wouldn't think if the scores were even that the call would have gone that way.
Kirk Penny into the game, as is Craig Bradshaw. So we're going to see Bradshaw, Vacona, and the big man, Perro, in there. I have not seen those three play together at all in the series so far.
I would have to say there's a psychological advantage over New Zealand right now, Jeff, because there's been a domination over the last number of years now that can't be argued.
But it's just,
Cameron draws a foul out of saddle.
Yeah, you're right, Shane. It's just unbelievable, though, that it's the combinations. I just feel it's combinations more than anything with this Tall Black team. Yeah, we've got Paul Winitana sitting on the bench.
But that's okay in saying that. We've got 4 of our best players out, and we're up by 23 points right now.
I can't disagree with you at all.
Well, once you guys get it sorted out, let me know. Because there's 5 out on the floor at the moment, trying to do their very best. Newley to McKinnon. They go low. The post up from Darnell Mee, and a grab there from Paul Inari. Hanari trying to deal with Darnell Mee down low, who did the job on Mark Dickel earlier in the game, and now Hanari having the same problem.
Once again, the Tall Blacks just haven't adjusted to that offensive pressure that Darnell Mee is able to put on them.
And David Anderson called for the travel, but that last one when Darnell palming the ball, he really looked like the old pro, didn't he? Give the ball to Mee down low, palms it.
And it's good for him to have an influence on this game in this last quarter. I think he's done a great job defensively, and he doesn't have to score to be a contributor on this team, but it's nice for him to hit those jump shots.
Kirk Penny having to do the ball handling. They need to free him up. Well, he freed himself up there. They backed off him. They'll count the 3 and the foul as well. So that's something the Tall Blacks really needed there. Sam McKinnon was on Kirk Penny and then decided to back off just a little bit. Well, Kirk Penny needs no further invitation than that. Have a look at that.
He's on the FIBA side.
That's a long 3. That's an NBA
a long way
3.
Away. That's the sort of shot you'd shoot, Hammer.
That's deep. You've got to encourage that.
And Penny again. This time turns it over. Mee up into the hands of McKinnon. Easy two and the foul.
Yeah, but why Penny turned it over was because he has to create his own shot. We said that earlier. That, like, he's your best scorer, and look, he's having to create his own shot.
Yeah, it's just frustration that time, taking into a place where the Boomers are trying to take him into places where they're not used to going, and that's what's happening right now. And this man, Sam McKinnon, at the free throw line, looking to extend that break. They've had it out to 21. And McKinnon makes it 20. McKinnon with 18 points. He leads all the Australian scorers. Here he is again and has that one blocked on the glass. Newley dumping it down. Now they'll wait for some extras. Play some 5-on-5 basketball again. McKinnon almost toying with them that time. Goes low to Anderson. Couldn't control. Oh, Saville got it and then was fouled as both Cameron and Saville went for the ball together. So the foul goes against Pero Cameron. There's the block by Mika Vakona. Run down by Newley. And here it is. Pero Cameron has to close out and then grabbing the arm of Glenn Saville.
You're not going to stop Pero Cameron from that momentum. Nah, he was gone.
Newley to Saville. They take the ball around the zone and go on the inside to Darnell Mead, who's forced into a tough shot down low by Lindsay Tate, but grabs the ball back. Hand off there to Brad Newley, and oh, it's me and Newley. Finally, one of them gets done, and Darnell Mead is who scores. He's into double figures. He has 11, and still the defence comes down the floor on a 22-point lead. It looks like Australia's off to Beijing.
See, we talk about what New Zealand should be doing, but the Australian defence has been exceptional. They haven't allowed New Zealand to do anything, and you see the steal there. That was probably an unforced error by Pero Cameron, but the last one that Sam McKinnon got was good defensive skills, a way to get his hands up and to be able to pick that pass off.
How would you like to be Luke Kendall sitting on the sideline right now, and Darnell Mead playing in this kind of form? Patrick Mills comes in and gets it done. Not much room for poor old Luke.
Well, I think you feel pretty happy that you're wearing the green and gold. There's 12 players there, and I think any chance you get to represent our country, you should appreciate, and I'm sure he does.
Well, there's Wade Helliwell and Luke Kendall, who haven't seen any court time tonight. They haven't been needed, but maybe towards the end, and Brian Gordon says, okay, we've got a 20-point break, we might put them in, but, well, 11 and 12 make their contributions in all sorts of ways, but they have to be ready to come in at any time and fill a hole. Haven't been needed tonight.
Well, I guess that's one of the points that I made during the week. Is nothing against Luke Kendall, but you want to see some of your young guys there. Someone like Joe Ingles that has an opportunity to be a fantastic player in this league and for this country. It also has an opportunity, I think, to go further internationally. And you'd like to see him getting that sort of experience, because I think the upside is tremendous, along with all the other Australian talent we've got. We're in a really good era right now for Australian basketball.
I guess the question with Joe is he a point, or is he a 2, or is he a 3? What is he? He's a 2. He's a very talented player.
He's a 2-3. I mean, he's no question. He's definitely not a 1, and you would never play him at 1.
It's kind of hard to fit into this group the way it is.
Well, no, I don't agree. I think when you've got 12 players, you put him straight in there and give him the opportunity to do his stuff from the 2-3 spot. And as we say, 12 players, you're never going to play 12 players in a 40-minute game. It's 20% less time than you have in an NBL game.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate because I knew what your answer was going to be.
That's good. We're working well.
Kirk Penny, again, almost losing it. Boucher. Kirk Penny, and draws the foul again from Darnell Mead. Forced him into the air and will go to the free throw line. But it all appears a little bit late, even though we're 6 minutes out from the end with a 22-point break. And a team as experienced as this Boomers is, well, the individuals on there, they're not experienced as a team together, but experienced as some of the individuals are, they're not going to let this one go, you would think.
Well, you wouldn't think so. The Tall Blacks are just totally out of it right now.
Well, I take you back to the second quarter when they're up by 13, the Boomers, and back came the Tall Blacks. I don't write them off at any time, any sport.
Well, you'd go as far to say if Australia didn't score one more point, New Zealand couldn't score 22 points in the last 6 minutes. I don't think they've got enough talent scoring-wise to be able to do that.
I don't want to agree with you, Shane,
But you are.
I've been harping on about it for the last 2 games, so I have to agree with it, don't I?
Well, a good little defensive passage there for the Tall Blacks. They forced the Australians into a situation where they couldn't even get a shot off. So now the Australians will come back and try and turn the screws defensively by advancing the defence up the floor. And Lindsay Tate to carry the ball up against Mark Worthington. Tate will get the ball into the shooter's hands pretty quickly. Mark Tate, or Lindsay Tate can shoot the ball himself, but that time they just succeeded in turning the ball out over the end line, didn't get a shot off themselves. So Lindsay Tate not getting the job done that time, and poor old Nenad Vucinic reaching. Oh, gee, another turnover. Kirk Penny not able to make that one, but will get a second opportunity. Goes down low, but Bradshaw couldn't grab it, and Brad Newley's away. Bang! Brad Newley from Adelaide. I saw his father, but he's sitting at the other end of the court, so he could have almost dunked that on his head at the other end. They really turned the ball over a lot, the Kiwis. 19 times tonight. Here's Newley again, and this time the foul will go against Lindsay Tate.
Personal foul to New Zealand. Number 5, Lindsay Tate.
Here's Newley. Haven't seen his outside shooting in this series yet, but he can really light it up. He's a guy who went off and was drafted in the NBA, but it looks like he may play. We just decided where it was going to be. Shane, is it going to be in Europe?
He's playing in Greece for a team called Panionios, and he will be drinking a lot of frappes and eating a lot of bugatsa and enjoying his time in Glyfada and Yasu to all the Greeks. A lot in Melbourne.
I was hoping you'd give us a little bit of Greek there from your time there. Did you pick up plenty?
Oh, I'm bilingual. I struggle enough with English, let alone having a crack at the Greek. I know how to swear, I know how to order my coffees.
Yasu's my limit. McKinnon grabbing the rebound. Mills back in the game again to try and finish this game off in style. Mills down the middle and works his way through the beat.
If you're asking for a bit of style, that was it right there, Phil, because there's some proud parents, a proud uncle. Patrick Mills. Australian basketball have got to be very happy with that, Shane. Look at him.
Oh, he's a little gem. You can't say enough about him. That's the 3rd basket he's made, going to the basket, finishing with his left hand. He's just got, untapped talent. And you just can't, you'd love to have a look at where he's going to be in 10 years, because he's going to be something.
When you tried to recruit him, did he call you Mr. Heel?
I can't remember.
Because he's like that. He's that kind of kid. He's just so polite.
I bet you he didn't call you Hammer.
Kirk
I can't
Penny.
remember what he called me, but he did say no.
Here he is again. And Patrick Mills has been fouled by Mark Dickel, and Mills will go to the free throw line.
And as the owner and I consoled each other and wiped away our tears and jumped on the plane and went back to Melbourne with our tail between our legs.
But I know we've talked a lot about Patrick Mills and the Australian Institute of Sport as Craig Bradshaw goes out. There's another boy there, Andrew Ogilvie, Hammer, who could take a part in the Australian senior team in the next year or two.
Oh, without doubt. I went to see the juniors train before they went to the World Championships, and we signed a young kid from there, Shannon Seabohm, who I think has got an enormous amount of talent. But you're right, Ogilvie, he is exceptional. He's 6'10", 6'11", very mobile, big player. Another guy going off to college, but he'll be pressing for a spot in this Boomers team before too long.
Well, the rest of the NBL ain't going to be the sigh of relief that you didn't sign Patrick Mills. You, Patrick Mills, in the lineup, mate.
Oh, he would have pushed me into retirement. I would have been happy to get there.
With a 26-point break, Australia still trying to turn the screws defensively here. They want to finish this one off and finish it big. Kirk Penny going to work against Sam McKinnon, but draws a foul out of him, and Kirk Penny will go to the free throw line. This is going to be awfully tough now for the Tall Blacks to go to Brisbane and play a dead rubber.
It's awfully tough for all of us. At the end of the day, they have to go and try and salvage some pride, try and salvage something from this test series, because game 2 has just been it's worse than game 1. The second half has been worse than all of game 1 from my point of view. The turnovers are now up to 20. And that man is under the pump back home.
Yes, his first big series with this team after taking over from Tab Baldwin, and he has got some pressure on him.
Certainly not going to help, mate, with you kicking the boots in. Are you a chance? Are you a chance to get this job?
Mate, I'll never get the Tall Black job. I'd love the Tall Black job, Shane, but I'd never get it. I'm not politically correct, mate.
Well, Brian Goorjian has emptied out the bench for this last 4 minutes. Damien Ryan with the ball here and under plenty of pressure. Wade Helliwell's in there. Luke Kendall's in there. So it's a 5 that we've never seen play before together for this team.
And Big Wade's been playing in Italy for a number of years now, so he's been getting some international experience too.
Luke Kendall's playing the 2 spot now with Patrick Mills out there at the point. And Pero Cameron it is who comes in and makes the foul, and Kendall will go to the free throw line. Both teams over the limit on fouls. 4 fouls on Pero Cameron.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be hard for the Kiwis to turn up Friday. They've obviously lost a lot of pride over these last couple of games, and whether they're going to come there with the attitude of trying to salvage some of that, or you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, there's the Tall Blacks bench, and they could be not feeling too flash in the pit of their stomachs here at the moment, but it's a tough situation for them. They can still qualify for the Beijing Olympics, of course, but they have to go to what's basically a repechage in Europe early next year, and that's going to be awfully tough to get through. Winatana out there. Cameron. So we're seeing all the players playing now. Boucher tried to save that one. Only save it against the back of the backboard, and that's out of bounds. So 3.5 minutes to go here, and a 25-point ball game. The Boomers leading it by 25 in the game that decides the series. It will take the Boomers up 2-0 after winning on Monday night by 12 points. They've really put a bulge in the scoreline here.
And you spoke about it in the third quarter. Brian Goorjian loves to be able to do this. You really grind it out, try and build that confidence and put that gap between the two countries.
What I like about the Tall Blacks is they are really down the floor on defense, even with a 25-point break. Mills hits a 3.
This crowd are loving Patrick Mills showing his wares.
And a good bit of defensive pressure there from Damien Ryan. Force that back over half court and will get the ball back.
17 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, and it just looks sweet every time it leaves his hands. It doesn't matter whether he makes it or misses it. It just looks good.
Yes, I mean, viewers might think we're raving about this kid a bit much, but gee, he's such the most exciting thing to happen to this game in a long, long time.
Phil, I'm a Kiwi, and I'm excited watching him.
You would hope people aren't thinking like that. I think everyone's going to be excited about his talent.
Absolutely. I love him. I love watching him. As a basketball fan, you've got to love it.
And look at this again, still going.
You know, he doesn't realise that his team's 28 points up. He's still playing like it's a tight ball game.
Well, it's so good to see, isn't it? He's so refreshing, and it rubs off on the rest of them too. Here he is up on Lindsay Tate. He gives away about 4 or 5 inches, but he's got the extra 4 or 5 inches in heart over so many people, and the quickness and all of the skills that go with it. This time he's been called for the foul, and Lindsay Tate it is who'll go to the free throw line. And talking about the future here is, we talked about that repechage tournament in Europe. Any doubts about the Kiwis actually going to that tournament?
Well, there's lots of talk back home about the ability for Basketball New Zealand to be able to fund the Tall Blacks in a repechage tournament, because you know it's funded by Spark back home in New Zealand, and they really do have the say on where the money goes, and they quite often spend the money on sports that are going to look like they're going to get a medal. I don't believe that they'll fund the Tall Blacks to go to Europe for that repechage tournament.
You think there'd be a little pressure, though, from Oceania and FIBA to make sure that the teams that are supposed to be there are there, wouldn't you?
Well, you would hope so, but just don't know whether FIBA and Oceania are going to try and fund a team from this region to get out there.
Well, you'd really want to see a team go, and you know, I think that if any team, whether it's Australia or New Zealand, can't beat the 6th place European team or the 3rd place Asian team and so on, because I think they'll go there and qualify. And it'd be great to have 2 teams from Oceania again if they can put their best team together.
Well, they've got 2.5 minutes to play in this game number 2 at the moment, but 2.5 minutes and looking at the scoreline when you're down by 27 points is a tough situation for them to be in. But let's give all credit to the Boomers at the moment because they've come into this series, I thought, as underdogs. I really thought the Tall Blacks should be favourites coming into this. And the Boomers have come out and gelled as a team. They've obviously done a very good job on the tour of Europe. They had some good wins over there, beating people like Turkey at their very best with all their NBA players in and showed that they can play. And they've put some things together in Europe and brought it back here for this series and done it very well.
Well, I think Brian's also the king of being able to play everything down. Talk about how many players are missing. Really talk to the players about being underdogs. And no doubt in their mind, they would have come out thinking exactly that. And that's why they've played with so much passion and so hard. They don't want to be a team that loses a series to New Zealand. It's only ever happened once.
There's a few players out there on the floor for Australia right now who'll be playing for a chance at the Olympics, because a lot of this stuff that's going on the floor right now goes into the memory banks of the coaches and people who have a say in selecting the team and said, okay, remember what this guy did at this particular time when he got his chance. So they've got to make the most of the chances they've got out there on the floor right now.
Any chance you play for Australia, you want to play well. And if you can contribute in the last 2 or 3 minutes, then you do so.
Look at the fringe candidates out there now, people like the Damien Ryans and the Luke Kendalls and Wade Helliwells, Russell Hinders. See what they can do in a situation like this. The team before them has built a good lead. They're leading by 23. They don't want to bring it undone right here, and they want to try and build on it. Kendall goes to the hands of Ryan, who had a great tour in Europe, they tell me. He really filled it up from the outside. Oh, great pass underneath, but Ryan got a push in the back and will go to the free throw line. Coaches love it when they bring the subs onto the floor and nothing changes. They want to keep things going in the way they were before.
Jeff's waving the white flag in the commentary box. Mate, you're a bit late for that. That should have been done 10 minutes ago.
I've been secretly wishing.
You should have waved it when the players did.
Patrick Mills again being disruptive in the backcourt, but Jeff, the coach Vucinic, does he bring in some different faces in the start of the second game or the third game, or does he go with the people who've served the country well?
Well, unfortunately, he's got no choice but to go with the people that he's put into the squad. I don't think there's a lot of other options for him.
We've only got 12 players here in Australia to do the job, but does he give other people more minutes?
No, I don't believe he needs to, because the other guys that he could put into the game are guys like Casey Frank, Mika Vakona, Tony Rampton. They haven't shown anything in the first 2 games anyway. You know, you've got to just go with your best players and just say to them, look, it's a dead rubber, but we've got to play for some pride here. We've got to grow an extra arm. We've got to grow an extra leg. You know, it's the responsibility of the senior players to win game 3. I just don't believe that they should come out here and just lay down. They've got to come out and make a statement, because the Australians have made a huge statement here, not only to New Zealand but to world basketball.
With that 23 Blake, that pass was just too good. It was meant for Russell Hinder making a cut back door, and it was a no-looker from Patrick Mills, and Hinder had not too many clues on it. And Mika Vakona bringing the ball up out of the backcourt. He's an in-betweener, isn't he, Mika Vakona? Not a guard, not a forward. Off the hands it goes, and that'll be a Boomers ball again.
Thank you very much. You know, he's another one of those players that just don't score. You know, he plays good defense, he rebounds well, but he's just another one of those players that the Tall Blacks have that just don't score.
Ryan with the screen from Helliwell. Still trying to keep their shape together, and Russell Hinder drains one from outside. 93 plays 67, so they've built on the lead. Very big cushion now. 30 seconds to go. They can be very proud of their efforts right here, the Boomers. Doing it in front of the home crowd, which was always going to be tough for the Tall Blacks. A hand in there from Halliwell, and that will be a Boomers ball. So they've got a last play here with 20 seconds to go in the game to finish it off. And they're headed to Beijing right now. They've qualified with a 2-0 lead in the best-of-3 series. And Patrick Mills just using the ball handling to count the clock down. I don't know if there's even going to be a large shot. And Patrick into the hands of Halliwell, just winding these last seconds up the clock, and that's it. And they can be pretty proud. And that boy can be especially proud, but it's been a tremendous team effort. The veterans have done the job. The new kids on the block have done the job, and they've done it together so well. But disappointment now for the Tall Blacks, who came here with such high hopes. And as I said, I thought they would have been favourites in this series because they'd played so many close ones against Australia in the last couple of years. And with the team that they'd had together for so long, I thought they might be a bit tough mentally for Australia right here. But the high scorers in the game, Kirk Penny finished with 21 to add to the 20 he had on Monday night. Pero Crammon with 15, but not enough friends. The next best was Craig Bradshaw with 9. For Australia, Sam McKinnon had 18 and Patrick Mills 17. 2 other double-figure scorers with Darnell Mee. Well, all his friends from the Institute in Canberra have all come to watch him. David Anderson had 11, and what a game for Darnell Mee. We're talking about the youngster. Here's the 37-year-old who really turned up here to play, and particularly in the second half, just had an outstanding game. Shane Heald's got the Tall Blacks captain Pero Cameron with him.
Well, big fella, tell us, mate, what went wrong?
Third quarter blues again, mate. We just couldn't put in the bucket in the third quarter, and a bit of both, bit of them putting the pressure on. I think in the end of the second quarter, and then coming out of the half, we struggled to get into a rhythm. And defensively they were good, and also offensively they went down low to Darnell.
Do you think the travel had much to do with it? With hindsight, would you actually do that trip again?
Not at all, mate. It's shithouse feeling losing, but it's gone. It's gone for us. We have to look ahead to July. Nothing to do with the travel. We had 4 or 5 days here in Melbourne, so we should have done better.
What about Friday, mate? What will you try and get out of that?
It's a game. Tonight, I think a lot of us look in the mirror and assess individually how what we want to bring Friday night, and as a team, we still like to get the win and a better performance in the third quarter.
Thanks, mate. Good luck with the Gold Coast this year. Darnell Mee, welcome to the Boomers, mate. It's great to see you out there. I thought you really set the intensity defensively for the team tonight.
Coming out, we knew you guys were going to come out and be ready to play tonight. We just felt like we had to turn the defense up, the intensity on the defense, and we did that tonight.
What about in the second half? You went to the block. I thought you were playing for Cairns again. They couldn't stop you down there.
Well, once we found something that was working, we just stuck with it, and obviously they had trouble with that, and it kept working, and it got us going in the second half.
And for everyone in Australia, mate, what does it feel, like to play for Australia, and what sort of, is there much of an adjustment with the styles when you went to Europe?
Firstly, the styles in Europe, it was different. Obviously, it's a couple of steps up from the NBA. The speed of the game and the timing was a bit too rough because I hadn't been working out or anything, so it was tough to get used to. But it was great for the series, and playing for Australia, it's a feeling I really can't explain. Coming to Australia, that wasn't my first thought joining the national team, and when I naturalized, Gordon gave me a call, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go, and I'm glad I did.
Well, you did us proud, mate. Well done, and good luck.
Aue te mai mo te kapa Tall Blacks I hinga ki ngā ringa o te kapa Australia Boomers ono te kau mā whitu iwa te kau mā toru ki ngā huarere. The very, very disappointing result for the Tall Blacks.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit sad or depressed. Are you feeling that?
Just a bit.
Yeah, well, the Tall Blacks handed it to the Boomers, and you know, they'd be very disappointed at their performance. You could tell with PC's voice there at the end. They've got to still get up and play on Friday night. So, yeah, it's a bit of a sad day for New Zealand basketball.
And it's just the same old thing. Turnovers in the third quarter Blues, as Pedro Cameron said, they really hurt the Tall Blacks.
Yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly. It was messy. 22 turnovers. I mean, we really talked heaps about it at the beginning of the game about how they had 18 and they were giving up quite a lot. But 22 tonight, it's not good.
Now, Darnell Mee, exactly right, was definitely really up the ante when it comes to the pressure D. And it just looks as though that the Tall Blacks were unable to react. They weren't able to adjust and, weren't able to step up their intensity to match the Boomers.
Yeah, well, you know, Darnell Mee had a good all-round game, and, you know, even he backed down on offence and, you know, posted up Sparky Dickel and scored inside. You know, he played good on D, got some stops there. I mean, he had a nice little outing.
And just in terms of the result and looking ahead at next Friday's game, how bad, look, obviously they'll be feeling disappointed, but hopefully they'll be able to come back tomorrow and just recap and, you know, get that hunger back to try and save a bit of pride in the series.
Yeah, definitely pride, and, you know, you've got to go out there and play another international test match. They've obviously got to look at their individual games, and I'm sure they're going to come out and try and, you know, take it to the Australians again.
Ai, ka tika rā. Kui rā te keu e whai ake nei ki runga i te paraere. The third and final game of this series will be shown live and exclusive on Māori television from 9:20 on Friday night. And as Jeff Green said, this is the opportunity for the experienced players in the Tall Blacks to step up and salvage a bit of pride for the Tall Blacks and for New Zealand basketball. Tira e te wiki hoki mai anō a pōpō, 8:30 tomorrow night. The Code, the best sports show on Māori television, and throughout Aotearoa will be screening, so make sure you come back then and again for Friday night for the big game, the final game within the series between the Tall Blacks and Australia, coming to you right live and exclusive from Brisbane. Nō reira, e te iwi kia mautoru mai kia whakaata Māori mō ēnei whakāturanga whakahirahira rawatu, engari mai mātou katoa i tēnei pō. Mihi kaua tuana kia koutou i roto i o koutou kāinga maha o Māori.